Hello everyone, my name is Viyash. I work for a company that hires a lot of Shiny developers across the globe. In one of those markers in the southern part of India, you'll find me sitting in front of my computer, building some Shiny apps and programming with R, while occasionally interviewing people to join our team. Last year, over 1,200 applicants applied for the R Shiny developer role at Appsilon, and we hired over 30 Shiny developers that year. The volume of these candidates has helped us understand what to look for in a Shiny developer, and I'll be sharing some tips on how you can become a better Shiny developer. You might call yourself a data scientist, analyst, biostatistician, or any of the hundreds of titles that use R and Shiny. But as soon as you've built your first Shiny app, you're a software developer. We've noticed that many of the applicants would greatly benefit from following some good software development practices. For example, can you tell what will be the output of this? If well written, you can easily do that. How about now? It produces the same output as before. Even the functions do the same thing as before. But I hope it explains one of the many ideas about writing code that is maintainable. But all the other ideas are just as simple as this one. It's many small things like these that make up a good developer. Let's imagine that you're working in one of our Shiny apps from our gallery called Future Forests. This app allows you to visualize the future forest distributions of 12 species under 4 scenarios. The data source for this app is just a bunch of RDS files with some cryptic names, but the names are not that cryptic once you know what they represent. The prefix of the file name corresponds to a scientific name, while the suffix of the file name corresponds to one of those scenarios. Let's say you accidentally delete one of these files. Now you should get an error for a very specific selection in the app, while the rest of the app works just fine. So you don't realize that you have an error until someone complains about it. But now imagine that you have an R script where you check for the existence of a data file for every combination supported by the app. It should give you an error when some file is missing. This is what we call a unit test. And trust me, this will save you from an embarrassment of disconnected from server. I know we've all been there. You can easily write tests like these using test that and Shiny test 2. If you check out the function references for Shiny, you'll find over 250 functions listed over there. This can be overwhelming if you're just getting started with Shiny. But I would highly recommend to go through the functions related to reactive programming. Reactive programming is the core concept of Shiny that differentiates it from other frameworks. Again, this seems like a lot of functions, but not really, because the input, output, and render functions all behave the same. Again, these functions can be grouped into one of these 3 shapes based on where they are used in the logic: source, conductor, or endpoint. You just need to remember 3 rules while working with these reactive functions. The shape determines how they can connect with each other. You can connect as many reactive components as you want. Finally, you can also have many-to-many connections with them. The simpler you make the reactive connections, the easier it would be for a human to interpret it and for Shiny to perform fewer computations to get things done. Finally, I recommend going through the software engineering key skills sheet that we internally created to improve the... Finally, I want to highlight a valuable resource that we consider it greatly contribute to our team's technical growth, the software engineering key skill sheet. We've put a lot of effort in building this and we maintain it regularly. This has been instrumental in guiding hundreds of Shiny developers towards their professional development goals. And I hope this would help you find topics and resources as well. Thank you so much for your attention, and you can find me in the Appsilon booth if you have any questions.